your child won't get anything out of it. There's a lot to unpack with this one. So I don't know, where do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I hear that a lot. I hear it both from parents and from gen ed teachers. Again, I think it's because we have worked presumptions around what learning looks like and what it means to get something out of something. Kids get so much out of inclusive classrooms most of the time. And it's not inclusion if a child's just in the back at the table and doesn't have access to the curriculum, right? Like that's not true inclusion. When we're talking about inclusion, we're talking about really meaningful inclusion where that is this child's classroom. The gen ed classroom is their classroom. Their peers are their peers. They're not on a different roster. They're not out of that classroom for the majority of the day. They're not siloed at the back table with an aide working on something totally different, right? That's not inclusion. That's not what we're talking about when we talk about inclusion. When we talk about inclusion, we're talking about a child who has access to the gen ed curriculum, who can engage in the lessons, but at their own skill level and working on their own learning targets that are aligned to what the class is working on. It means that they have their peers, that they have access to the social opportunities, that they have relationships with their peers that are developing and growing. And sometimes that takes a long time. But if you're not in those spaces, that will never take place. I had a student who came to me in third grade and his mom said, he's been in SDC since kindergarten. He has an intellectual disability. His speech has basically plateaued since kindergarten. He can say his name, Lion King, and I love you. And that's pretty much it. So he came in third grade and there were a lot of challenging behaviors at first. He wasn't used to the setting. He wasn't used to the environment. He was, acclimating. By the first month, he was saying many more words. He had peers all around him that were modeling conversational skills, that were doing things that he was really motivated to chime in and figure out, how do I communicate this? But by month 3, he was speaking in full sentences, saying all of his wants and needs. He got so much out of that classroom, not just social skills, not just communication skills, also academic skills, life skills, and he was included. And it wasn't just a positive experience for him, but it was for those other kids in the classroom too, who totally fell in love with him and were his greatest allies.